The next talk that we're going to hear is by Venerable K.C. Dhammananda, the High Priest of Malaysia. Dr. Dhammananda is well known for his tremendous Dhammadutta work in Malaysia. At a time when Buddhism in Malaysia was somewhat inactive and disorganized, he has been one of a small number of people who have had an enormous effect in awakening Buddhism, presenting it in a non-superstitious, clearly understandable way to the vast majority of people. He's well known for his many writings, and he will be talking to us today on how to face modern challenges.
Venerable Chairman, Venerable members of the Mahasangha, dear devotees, let me congratulate for having invited me to come and participate in this religious seminar organized by Tisarana Buddhist organization headed by Venerable Dhammananda. You have done a very good service to create some sort of awakening amongst the Buddhist community to gain more confidence and understanding how to maintain Buddhist concepts or practices in spite of various challenges that we have to face. So this morning, Dr. Dhammasiri, in his talk, given various reasons as fundamental advices from the Buddhist point of view. So it is my duty to give further explanation regarding this issue. How to face the challenges, especially modern challenges. Well, religionists are going to defend. But do you think all those challenges are unreasonable? I believe many of those challenges are reasonable. Why? Religions are based on belief, faith, and mythology, and traditions, and customs. But modern challenges are based on experiment, investigation, observation, and realization. We have to admit, in every religion, there are a lot of superstitious beliefs that we cherish and promote as religious way of life. Because of this attitude, many of those scientists, rationalists, freethinkers, agnostics declare war against all those existing religions. Religionists had a losing battle for nearly 100 years. In the end, they had to surrender. How did they surrender? By changing, twisting, giving new versions and interpretations to their basic teaching. In that case, where are the basic teachings of those religions if they can change from time to time the basic concept of their religion. Let us take few examples. Anthropology. They had a losing battle up to 1950. That this theory goes against the creations of God. But in the end, what they have done, they have twisted and changed the basic teaching and accommodated anthropology, because no other choice. In the same manner, the formations of this world, earth, sun and the moon, galaxies and the universe, they claim as their property, belong to that particular religion. When scientists have discovered and explained the real nature of the universe, they have to withdraw certain things that they have claimed as their property or created by their father. So are we going to say these challenges are wrong? Now let us come to Buddhism. Is there anything in the 45 years teachings of the Buddha, or those scientists, or psychologists, or rationalists, or anthropologists to challenge with the Buddha's teaching? In fact, the more they discover, the more they come nearer to the Buddha. Many things that the Buddha had explained earlier, people could not understand. But later, when scientists have discovered, today, people say, yes, what the Buddha has said earlier is true. Those who criticize and condemn and ridicule Buddhism talk about idol worshipping, burning sticks and papers, rites and rituals, but can they touch upon one word uttered by the Buddha to challenge? In fact, they cannot understand what the Buddha has said. When they want to ridicule this religion, they talk only about these few items. Can they challenge with the Four Noble Truths, Eight Noble Paths, the cause and effect, or karma or causality, moral causality, or the nature, impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, unsubstantiality in everything that which exists? Can they challenge? That is what a well-known scientist, Albert Einstein, has said. In future, if religion is needed, according to our scientific education, only one religion can remain in this world. That is Buddhism. In his biography, he has written like this. He was not a Buddhist. So intellectuals can appreciate the Buddha's interpretation of our life and existence and world and the universe and phenomena. But others create their imagination by following age-old traditional beliefs which were recorded in their holy book and introduced as divine message. So Buddhists have no challenge. There is nobody in this world who can challenge with the Buddha's teaching, because the Buddha has revealed only truth. He did not introduce a religion. He did not introduce a philosophy or psychology, but all those things are there. But the truth is the nucleus of Buddhism. Remember, no one can monopolize the truth. Truth does not belong to any particular religion. A religion cannot create the truth. Truth exists. But unfortunately, people cannot understand the truth. That is what the Buddha said. Whether the Buddhas appear or not, the dhamma or the truth remains. Due to their ignorance and misunderstanding, completely eclipse their mind, and they experience the difficulty of understanding the dhamma or the truth. Instead of following a religion, people do something, believe something, practice something, where we cannot find real religious value. That is why many of those great thinkers say, better to do away with all these religions. Religionists are trying to blindfold us, try to make use of us for their own benefit by introducing superstitious belief as religion. On the other hand, can we prove that all those who follow certain religions or religious denominations are far superior to those who have no religion, those who do not claim any religion? In fact, if you observe unbiasedly, you can see those who follow religion, as mentioned by Dr. Dhammananda, those who follow religions create more troubles, more misunderstanding, more jealousy, more hatred than those who have no religion. Those who have no religions are united, but so-called religionists who glorify about their religion have more jealousy and anger and enmity, hatred towards others. Then what is the big idea of maintaining a religion? You can forget about religious labor. People are trying to introduce our religion or my religion, but there is nobody to introduce religion. My idea is to bring others into my religion, whatever rubbish I believe in the name of religion. This is the attitude. The Buddha did not try to introduce a religion, as I mentioned earlier. He revealed the truth for you to understand, to maintain your human dignity, to uphold humane qualities and respect human intelligence, but not to follow anything through mere emotion or faith or belief. Then what are we going to do now? Some people say religion is irrational. Science is inhuman. Philosophy is a theory. Psychology is imaginary. Politics is dirty. Man is unreliable. World is uncertain. Then what are we going to do now? Where is the solution? This is the real situation. Then how are we going to solve this problem? So when you take dharma, please remember, dharma is free from all these things. That is the truth. We are trying to understand the main thing, our human dignity to live as real human beings, real gentlemen. Do you know, when you address a large gathering, we say, ladies and gentlemen. But when we observe very carefully, all are gentlemen, but it is very difficult to find out a gentle man. This is the truth. Then where is religion? Today, job-orientated education produce so-called intellectuals, but unfortunately in their education they never had discipline, moral conduct or behaviorism. Then immoral practices become very common. They go on developing their selfish desire with cunningness because of their academic knowledge. Before they received that education, they were ordinary devils. But after their graduations, they have become very clever devils. This is the nature of modern education. Then how can you expect a healthy, peaceful society for us to live? There are few innocent people, and they become the victims to those clever people. Take for instance, I have noticed on many occasions when two wrestlers come to the stage, an honest wrestler wants to go and shake hands with the other man. Then the other man is a clever devil. He gets the chance to get all of his and twist and start beating. This is the nature of the society today. Honest, kind, understanding, innocent people easily become the victims to all those cunning, educated, selfish people. If not, we develop certain racial arrogance, very unhealthy racial arrogance. Religious discrimination. One religious group hate, discriminate the other religious group. One writer has written, if religionists are not ready to lay down their weapons, how can we ask militarists or terrorists to lay down their weapons? Because religionists are in the battlefield. They use religion as a weapon to gain political power, worldly power, material gain and pleasure by using the name of religion, by adopting any kind of monkey tricks in the name of religion to promote their religion, any kind of immoral practices to introduce religion. You might have read in the newspaper, nearly 1 year ago in Indonesia, an American missionary group introduce a religious cult by inviting young boys and girls to have free sex, to introduce their religion. They have gone to such extent. In Europe, one particular church, when the priest could not find out the followers to go and pray the Sunday morning, what he did, he opened a liquor bar in the church. Then people started going there, and after having nice drink, they can pray louder. They can pray louder. How do they pray? First, they pray. After praying, they pray on. That pray means P-R-E-Y, pray. Pray on others. This is the nature of their prayers. That is why I told you, whatever man handles today, whether it is politics or religions or education, he misuse, abuse, disgrace because of his selfishness and cunningness. These two forces are ruling the whole world today. The world has become a real battlefield. The whole world is in a chaotic condition today because of this man's selfishness and cunningness. Can we find the answer from heaven by praying? Is there anybody to settle this problem? Let us try to find out whether we can find out direct answer from the Buddha's teaching. He has given the answer. When somebody came and asked this question, you see, the whole world is in a chaotic condition. Inner tangle, outer tangle. Conflict, clashes, dispute. How are we going to settle this problem? Then the Buddha said, Sile patittaya naro sapanyo chittam panyancha bhavana. He said, there are only three things we have to do if you really want to settle this problem. There is no any other solution. By taking this stanza, Venerable Buddha Ghosa has written more than 800 pages, a book called Visuddhi Magga, in English, Path of Purification, based on this particular stanza. Then what is the solution? If people observe Sila, what is Sila? Discipline, behavior, conduct, to behave as human beings. That is the first thing. If man is not ready to do that, it is impossible to find out any solution. But that is not enough. Chittam panyancha bhavana. Train the mind. You can pretend you are cultured, civilized, religious, educated human beings. But still, your minds are not clear, not trained properly. If the mind is not trained, at any moment, that uncertain mind can create enormous problems, because there are three main evil roots in our mind. Whether we are good or bad, these three evil roots, evil forces, remain submerged in our mind. Circumstances, environment arouse, that flare up. After that, no controlling power. We cannot apply the breath at that time. That is why training is important. This training is not like animal training. You know, those who perform certain circus, they catch wild animals, fierce animals, lions and tigers, and play with them. And we think they are tamed. They were not tamed. Fear, the master has injected into their mind by beating, torturing those animals. Because of that fear, animals keep quiet. But no training in the mind. No understanding in the mind. But occasionally, the real animal nature, you can see, suddenly they jump and kill the master in the circus. So if the animals are like this, what about human beings who got intelligence? This intelligence is a very dangerous thing if it is not properly trained and guided. That is why the Buddha says, mental training is the most important thing. You might have read the human rights, the UNESCO Human Charter. The main problem or the cause of the war, it is mentioned, man's mind creates war. But the same mind can bring about peace. So, they refer to the Buddha, what he has said 2,500 years ago in Dhammapada, the first stanza, Mano Pubbangama Dhamma. Mind is responsible for everything good and bad in this world. Neither God, nor devil, nor ghost, but the man's mind. God, devil, ghost are there in the man's mind. Man can act as God, as devil, and as ghost. If that mind is not properly trained, man can misuse this and create enormous problem, disaster. Then the Buddha says, train the mind. You cannot train another man's mind. What is happening today? I try to train you and you try to train me. There is a nice parable in the Buddha's teaching. The master and the students when they were going to perform a very risky tricks, the acrobats, the master told the disciple, this trick is very, very risky. Therefore, you must try to protect me. I try to protect you. Then the disciple said, Master, I don't think it is advisable or practical. If you try to protect yourself, and if I try to protect myself, I think that is more practical. That is what the Buddha says. Don't try to train others. First, you must train your own mind. But nobody wants to do that. Try to train the mind. If you want to see a healthy, peaceful society or the world, then the last item is Panya. Panya means understanding, realization, wisdom. You can train the mind, but the truth or the reality has still not appeared in the mind. Therefore can be misled at any time. So, moral development or discipline is the foundation. First you have to lay this foundation. Without laying this foundation, it is impossible for you to build up. Any moment can collapse because the foundation is not strong enough. And then train the mind to stand firmly. It is unshakable now. Then climax, wisdom, understanding. We can understand why people are fighting, why we develop jealousy and enmity and grudge, why we discriminate others. We can understand. But today we cannot understand. We give all sorts of excuses for our own benefit. We disregard others' feelings. Remember, the way how Buddha has introduced for us to cultivate morality or discipline, not because of fear of punishment. If you do that, you are selfish. If there is no such punishment, you can do any kind of dirty, vulgar, wicked, cruel thing in this world, because no punishment. On the other hand, you are willing to do some service to others, help others, then there must be some reward from heaven. Otherwise you are not ready to do that. This mental attitude is real selfishness. Now let us see the Buddha's attitude. He does not talk about this punishment or hellfire or heaven as a reward. Your understanding you have to develop, then you know why. Certain things are good, certain things are bad. Without depending on God or heaven or devil or ghost. What is that? He said, if you cannot understand why evil things are bad, attanang upamang kattva nahani naghate, also in Dhammapada. When others try to hurt you, beat you, kill you, torture you, think for a while how you feel. So when you are going to do the same thing to others, any kind of living beings, they too experience the same feeling, fear, pain, suffering. This is more than enough for you to understand why these things are bad. Not because of the punishment. This is the advantage of the human mind to understand this. We are so selfish. We are not willing to do any service to anybody if there is no reward. Then how are we going to cultivate your virtues, your kindness, your compassion, your honesty? No chance at all. On the other hand, we don't like to kill, or it is forbidden according to our religion. If not, the God punish me if I kill. Is it not selfishness? Why not you think in this way? As human beings who can understand things, it is unfair, it is cruel, it is painful, create enormous suffering if I destroy or disturb or beat or kill them. Then you have given a chance to your mind to cultivate certain good qualities, kindness, compassion, understanding, patience. If you depend on punishment, you never give this chance for your mind to think in that way. So, these are the three things the Buddha has introduced to face any kind of challenges in this world, whether modern challenges or old challenges, makes no difference. Challenges were there even during the Buddha's time. Why? The Buddha's teaching is so rich, philosophically, ethically, morally, doctrinally, scientifically, rationally, because there was lot of challenges from various other religious denominations in India. Why? The Buddha was a religious revolutionist. He has revolutionized the whole system, religious system, and rationalized and given very reasonable interpretation to many of those existing religious beliefs and traditions and practices. There are a lot of challenges from philosophers, religious teachers. So he had to face it. Dialogue, debate, discussion, enrich the Buddhist doctrine. That's why intellectuals, especially in the Western countries, say Buddhism is a real gold mine to us. The more we dig and dig, the more we can find valuable things. So it is not a belief, it is not a mythology, it is not a tradition, it is not an old fashion, it is the truth. So where are the challenges? There is nobody to challenge, as I mentioned earlier, with the truth revealed by the Buddha. People say they have discovered so many new systems, new methods, but can they refute or ridicule or oust what the Buddha has said according to their new discoveries? Can you bring up even one issue? You can ask only one question. People are used to many kind of immoral practices. Today, they don't regard them as immoral. Then you ask, Buddhism says it is unfair for us to do that. How can we live without these practices? Because you are used to them. Remember, we cannot lower the status, the dignity of Buddhism according to your way of life. Moral degeneration, a spiritual bankruptcy already have taken place in the man's mind. So what people want to lower the basic teachings of the Buddha according to their way of life. They are going further down, lower and lower. That is what the Buddha said earlier. In time to come, when these immoral and evil practices become very common, the dhamma disappears. Dr. Dharmasiri said, in Sanskrit it is mentioned, dharmo vanantram gata. Dharma has gone back to jungle. Law of the jungle has come back to this concrete jungle. That is what is happening in this world. So with whom are you going to challenge? You have to challenge with yourself. It is our mistake. We must try to learn the truth. We can pray. We can offer. We can burn lot of joysticks. We can pray 100 times a day. Today religions are glorified. You see, our places of worship are fully packed. churches, temples, mosques, thousands of devotees go and pray and pray. We prosper because when we open our charity box, we can see a lot of money. Religion is progressing. This is the way how they measure the development of religious life. But when you observe among those who go and pray as pious devotees, jealousy, anger, grudge and ill will and cruelty, all the evil processes are boiling in their mind. Why do they want to pray? Because they have committed lot of sins. And go and ask the God, please forgive, wash away all my sins. Then tomorrow also I can do the same thing. Otherwise, why do they want to pray? As Buddhists, we never pray to anybody, because we are not culprits. So, we try to adjust ourselves. We do not depend on anybody. We cultivate our way of life. We have weaknesses. So, just this morning, Dr. Dhammananda made a beautiful statement. Please remember this. He said, the Buddha did not introduce a religion for you to follow. All the others are followers. So we are not followers of the Buddha or anybody. Buddha says, instead of following, you must try to learn. After learning, you must think. Try to understand. After that, practice. Then, experience. Whether it is right or wrong, you can understand. Pacchattam veditabbo vinyuhi. So each and every person can experience this according to their way of practice. Pariyatti, patipatti, pattiveda, 3 ways. First, you have to study. How many people have learned the Buddha's teaching? They do not know anything about it. When they talk about Buddhism, people say like that. That's what people say. But they do not know what the Buddha has said. Try to understand. Dhammapada is a beautiful book. It is a Buddhist Bible. If you want to use the word Bible, it's a Buddhist Bible. Such a nice sayings of the Buddha, advices for us. Then after learning, you can understand whether it is right or wrong, without depending on Buddha or without depending on your Guru. Because you have human mind to understand, but you never give that chance. So, as I mentioned, we have no problem, no challenges. Yes, there are many challenges regarding your practices, especially from other religionists. The way how they try to ridicule this religion. They say you are idol worshippers, you worship a devil. How can a dead man can save you, forgive your sins? And why do you want to burn justice and papers? To whom are you praying? How can you find out your way to heaven? These are the things. But can they mention even one word uttered by the Buddha? The Buddha said like this, it is wrong. Can they see? Then what are they talking? Alright. They may come and tell you, if you accept this religion, after your death or when you are going to die, the God forgive your sins, original sins. Otherwise you have no chance to go to heaven. Because they have taken the sole agency from heaven. Those who have no non-religious labels also can go to heaven if they can maintain all the good qualities and virtues and human dignity. Heaven is open to everybody. Religious label is not important. At the gate of the heaven, I don't think there is anybody to see your label whether you are Buddhist or Christian. Well, they say, after your death, they take away your original sin. How do you know whether they can take away your sins or not after your death? Nobody come and report, isn't it? They are very clever. If they can do that, they should have done from the birth. Then we can understand whether the sins were forgiven or not. Please remember, from the Buddhist point of view, if there is anybody in this world who can take away your sins, you are the only one who can do that. But not simply by worshipping or praying to anybody. If there is anybody in this world who can forgive your sins, you are the only one who can do that. Another person cannot forgive your sins. Therefore, don't give up hope, thinking, oh, all the other religions have a savior. Unfortunately, we have no savior. Then what about our faith? But you must have more confidence. You can become your own savior. How are you going to do that? By knowing that you have committed evil and sins, you stop all the evil, bad, sinful things. From that day onward, you try to cultivate more and more virtues and the merits and good qualities. Then you can overcome, you can eclipse, you can postpone the effects of the bad deeds that you have done earlier. Then you go on continuing this life after life. One day you can attain sainthood, salvation. That is how you can become your own savior. Another person cannot do this. So, I think time has come for me to stop my talk, nearly 1 hour, so I will give more chance for you to ask questions. Thank you very much for your indulgence.
Well, I got one question here. Should Buddhist religious rites and traditions be modified to suit changing environments and circumstances?
Yes. This is a very good question. First and foremost, you must understand, the Buddha has not introduced any religious rites and rituals and ceremonies. He was not interested. In fact, he did not encourage even to erect the Buddha image. Some of his disciples wanted to erect the Buddha image. The Buddha said it is not necessary. There is no history for us to show that there was any Buddha image for nearly 500 years after his passing away. But today, although we try to defend Buddhists, that they are not idol worshippers, actually they have become real idol worshippers. When you see, recently, in certain temples, they started to erect 4 faces Buddha and introduced this statue as a Buddha. They completely mislead, disgrace the Buddha, because that is not the Buddha image. So according to Hindu mythology, there is a Brahma, God, Creator God. So that is the statue of that Brahma. And these monks and people introduce this as 4-faced Buddha. And many people like this image, especially ladies. Because this Buddha got 4 faces. One face looking this way, other one in this way, another one this way, another one this way. Especially married ladies, they like this kind of Buddha to watch the husband where he is by his side. So, this is the way we are going on developing all these things. Then rites and rituals we practice according to our own culture and tradition. Buddhism has never mentioned anything about these things. When you go to China, Japan, Korea, Mongolia, Ceylon, Thailand, Burma, India, they have different practices according to their culture, their tradition. So, however, time has come for us to minimize as much as possible. Otherwise, these practices become mockery in the eyes of educated people, understanding people. Right.
But also, I'd like to just point out something briefly there. I've often been called an idol worshipper, and somebody said to me only recently, these Singapore people, how backward they are. I know some graduates who actually still worship the sun and the moon. And when that person said that to me, I said, well, at least you can see the sun and the moon. I know some fools who worship things that they can't see. At least you can see a statue of the Buddha. Okay. So what's so wrong with idol worship? Even if Buddhists did do that, what's so wrong with idol worship? Any other questions? Okay, then, yes, please come to the microphone.
I would like to ask Reverend, in our today's world, the conditions and the causes are so unfavorable to Buddhist practices. How should various Buddhist organizations and their fellow disciples get together and practice the Buddhism as it is stated in the Buddhist scripture?
The question is, why not all these different Buddhist groups or sects or schools get together and form some sort of unified Buddhist community? According to my experience, I feel that this work is just like collecting frogs from here and there and keep in one place asking them not to move. See how long that they can stay together. But all are frogs. Because different ethnic groups, different traditional and cultural practices, different mentality, education, way of thinking, and intellectual and devotional and emotional attitude. When you mix up all these things, become mumbo jumbo. Create more conflict, more misunderstanding and more trouble. So unity in diversity is the solution. Unity in uniformity is not practical, it is artificial. Unity in diversity, you must understand your way of life and you must know how to respect others. So practice your religion and respect other religions. Other religion does not mean only Christianity, Hinduism, Islam and others. Among Buddhists there are so many. So, if you cannot respect, practice your religion and keep quiet without disturbing it. That is more than enough. That is unity in diversity. Now take for instance, I heard there's one Buddhist group introducing in Singapore and Malaysia and some other part of the country. And this is the true Buddha. All the other Buddhas are wrong and out of date. They say this Buddha has come from Japan. Ask whether it is true. I said quite possible. Because this is electronic Buddha. More powerful than that. So, don't try to bring all together, you invite more headache and more trouble. Don't discriminate, don't disturb. If you can understand the method or the school or the sect, it appeals to you, you can follow that method. That is the only solution. Unity in diversity is more practical.
Any other questions anybody would like to ask? To the microphone.
I'm sorry that I have to repeat my question. I'm not referring that we as Buddhists from various sects have to get together to change ourselves. I'm not referring to that. Rather, I learned my experience from some of the Christian organizations. Let's take, for example, the Luis Pala at the stadium. Now, I find that they are able to have the capacity to organize such a big-scale sermon or big-scale preaching session. Whereas we look at ourselves, the Buddhist organizations, every time whenever they organize something, we always have a lot of difficulties in terms of manpower, in terms of financial status, etc., etc. So what I suggest is, maybe, Reverend, you could bring up some points that among ourselves, how can we work out a system where we can offer individual and mutual support?
This is another aspect, but I think this point is very important. I also observe that something is lacking there in our Buddhist community. Mutual understanding, cooperations, and each and every person practice some sort of individualism. Not only Buddhism, individualism also they practice. I work for my salvation and you must work for your salvation. That is another deep aspect. That is to gain Nibbanic bliss without depending on others. But for our day-to-day life, we must have that cooperation, our unity and harmony, strengthen our confidence to carry on our work smoothly. At the moment, those who organize such religious activities lose confidence, no support from others. They get more criticism. So, take one temple or one society. Among those members also, there is no such unity. So, take for instance, in the temple, when they meet, they talk to each other. That's all. After that, they forget everything. That is not enough. You have to develop this relationship in case of sickness or troubles or problems or funerals and various other occasions. Give them moral support. And then they also get more confidence. That attitude is very healthy, very important.
Any other questions?
I think part of the problem goes to the shyness of all Buddhists is that they are shy to answer the rest of the religion questions. Say for instance, like people might come and ask you, why do you sleep with your folded hands and start waving around? Why do you have the incense sticks? Why do you have the oil lamp? Or even why do you also like offer food to the Buddha?
this goes back to the question that somebody asked before: could Buddhist ceremonies be modified? And as Venerable Dhammananda said, yes, the Buddhist rituals could be modified, but they shouldn't be modified into non-existence. Because when you understand the meaning of Buddhist rituals, I have never found one Buddhist ritual that didn't have a deep, poetic, and rather artistically beautiful meaning when you understand the meaning. So if people are going to perform these rituals, it's essential that they know what the symbolic meaning behind them is. So this comes back to the problem of education. Buddhists have got to make an effort to be more than just Gnostic Buddhists. They've got to make an effort to know, as Dr. Venerable Dhammananda has said, the teachings of the Buddha himself, so that they can explain those things. Any other questions before we finish?
Venerable sir, we just mentioned on the training of the mind, and they've got to get rid of the three main evil roots. Can you kindly elaborate on these three main evil roots?
She wants to know what are the three main evil forces the Buddha has singled out. These three forces are responsible for all the other evil thoughts and words and action in our life, in our existence, and for rebirth. What are those three? Lobha, dosa, moha. Craving, hatred, ignorance or illusion. These three forces are very, very strong. Some people can suppress them, keep them under control. And such people we regard as good people or religious people. But they too have certain degree of these three evil forces. So we cannot approach, eradicate by adapting any scientific method or psychology. That is what the Buddha said in Satipatthana Sutta, way of mindfulness. There is only one method for what? Sattanam Visuddhya, for the purity of the mind, to eradicate these three. There is no any other method. All the other practices, beliefs, services, ceremonies, offerings, support to suppress these forces, but never eradicate. There is only one method. What is it? That is mindfulness, concentration. You are going on taming your mind. Then you strengthen the mental energy. Then straighten selfishness and crookedness in the mind. After that mental energy slowly wipe out this selfish desire, hatred and illusions from the mind. So without practicing this method, whatever any other method we adopt, we never experience the full result. But we can control them for the time being. So many of those meditators do that. When you attend a religious service, when you read a religious book, you control these things at that time. At the very moment when you stop this, again the same evil forces disturb the mind. So we have to do this step by step. Life after life we had to work for this. You know how long it has taken for Buddha to eradicate all the mental defilements from his mind, if it is so easy to gain his enlightenment. After gaining his enlightenment, the bliss that he experienced, he expressed. He said, Visankhara citta. Now, in my mind, there are no sankharas. What is sankhara? The mental tendencies, mental concomitants and mental activities, mental habits, we develop life after life accumulated as good karma and bad karma. All these are known as sankhara. Now no more. Why? Tanhanam khaya majjaga. Tanha, Krishna, avidya. Khaya majjaga. Completely eradicated. No more craving in my mind. Then enlightenment. So in our case, whether we are laymen or monks or religious or not, still we have certain degree of craving, hatred and illusion. So we have to go on reducing, and one day we will be able to achieve the final goal.
Okay, last. You also submitted a written question, yeah? Okay, so after we finish this series of questions, we'll have a question on all sorts of things and we'll answer your question at that time. Okay? Last question, yeah.
Thank you very much. Venerable, may I ask you, according to Karl Marx, he said religion is the drug of the people. How do you answer? What is your opinion?
Marx has said, religion is the opium of the mankind and soul of the soulless. Something more, you know.
I have an oppressed piece.
That's right. And I agree with him. I fully agree with him. Because he is talking about religion. So-called religionists completely blindfolded mankind worse than the opiums and drug addicts. They mislead and abuse and disturb only few people. Drug addicts can disturb only few people. Religious fanatics can disturb the whole country or the whole world. So those days, the way how they use their religious authorities to torture people, to blindfold people, to make use of them for their own benefit. No wonder. Why? He said it is opium. But from the very beginning I told you, Buddhism is not a religion. We don't want to join with that opium group. Karmic forces in our mind, as good and bad karmic forces, when the death takes place, in that departed consciousness, all the ingredients that we have accumulated as good and bad karma is responsible for the next life, but not any of the organs or the elements of the body. It is very clear in the Buddha's teaching. So after our death, there is no connection whatsoever with the physical body. That departed consciousness is solely responsible for the next life. Then, the belief that some people maintain, if we die without eyes, or if anything removed from our physical body, eyes or kidneys, the rebirth also can take place without that particular organ. But they never think this earlier, when amputation or removal of the arms and eyes before they are dead due to certain accidents or some other sicknesses, they never think in that way. But when we ask them to donate for the benefit of the others, welfare of others and happiness of others, we develop this selfish idea. Oh, what will happen to us after our death? See, what a great selfish idea. Human folly remains there in that concept. How selfish we are. On the other hand, some people believe that after our death, we had to carry certain things to our next world. That is why some people put so many things into the coffin. Clothing and money, rice, and after burial, again they erect all sort of houses and televisions and so many things nowadays to get in the next world. I remember a story. A man who strongly believed this, he wanted to take his money with him, but he did not trust his family members. So he has given $50,000 to his lawyer, $50,000 to his doctor, and $50,000 to his religious priest. I do not know which religion. So after his death, those three people also came to attend the funeral. Now, ask them to put this amount into the coffin. Then the doctor said, yes. Although he has given me 50,000, he has not paid his medical bill. So I have taken only 15,000. The balance I put into the coffin. All right. Then the priest, he came and told, yes, he has given me 50,000, in our place of worship. The roof was leaking, I have renovated, I spent 25,000. So I can put only 25,000 into the coffin. Then the lawyer came. Lawyers are very honest people. They work according to the law. He came and scolded the other two persons. You have disappointed this poor man, he entrusted you, and now you say you spend, we have deducted in this and anyway, don't worry. I am going to replace that they have taken. My 50,000 and his 15,000 and 25,000 add all together. So he issued post-dated and account payee cash check and put in the pocket. So this is the fate that those who believe that they will gain something from this world. Artha grihe niyuttante smasane mitra bandhava sukritam duskritam chaiva gacchanta manugattati. It's very clearly mentioned. Whatever we have accumulated remain at home. We cannot carry to the next world. Smasane mitra bandhava. Our friends and relatives follow us up to the graveyard or crematorium. Nobody says that he or she also want to go with me. But that departed man taken two things from this world. Sukritam, duskritam. The good karma and bad karma that he has accumulated, he has taken with him. So those who believe that they should not donate anything from their physical body are very selfish people, very narrow-minded people, and this is the clear picture from the Buddhist point of view. Thank you.
It has been pointed out that rebirth is due to karmic forces. The question is, how long do the karmic forces floating around after a person's death before rebirth? The next thing is, I read in the magazine about the girl who was reborn. She has a squint eye before death, and after birth, the second life, she also has a squint eye. Can you explain this, please?
So all those who have crooked eyes must be very careful, must adjust, before they are dead. Anyway, we cannot deny that, because certain distortion or disfigured organs, if create worries, frustration, disappointment, and at the same time certain other karmic forces also may contribute to maintain this mental attitude. Now in the next birth, it is quite possible certain distortions or disfigured features can be appeared. And those who were hypnotized or who remembered their previous birth also have pointed out certain marks in their physical body. What happened during their previous birth? That means death has taken place due to that particular injury. And that worries disturb the mind, and it has become mental habit, mental tendencies, and joined with the mental process and the karmic energies. Now this is the Buddhist psychology. So the other part of your question is how far these karmic forces can influence for our rebirth. So it is mentioned 3 stages in our minds when we are going to die. Kamma, kamma nimitta, gati nimitta. It is not that somebody come from heaven or hell and take away something from us. And it is not that after our death we go on searching a certain suitable place for us to settle down. There are many Buddhists who maintain this belief. The departed spirits remain for a certain period in searching a suitable place. And this contradicts to the basic teachings of the Buddha. Because before we die, these 3 things appear in our mind, but sometimes we cannot express to others. The senses are cut off from the mind. Then we say unconscious. Not unconscious, fully conscious, but cannot deal with the senses, cannot express, cannot grasp. That is the most important time, very critical period in our life, because the next life or the destiny of next life depend on that stage. Whatever we have accumulated as sankhara or karma, good and bad, that is the time this unconscious or subconscious mind projects into the normal mind. Then this mental process works just like a film show. Then one of the karmas, it depends on one of the weighty karmas or heavy karmas or certain karmas which influence the mind, or habitual karmas that we have done repeatedly, almost every day as our habit, either good karma or bad karma. So one of these karmas gets a chance to appear at the last thoughts moment. Then that mind hold onto this. Then karma appearing. Then kamma nimitta, some sort of indication. The result of this particular karma appears in the mind. Either darkness, brightness, fire, if not flower garden, or waterfalls, pure animals, appears in that mind according to that particular karma. That indicates what this karma is going to condition. Then Last one, Gati Nimitta. Because of this, in the same mind, the destiny of this person also appears in the mind. So it is not that he goes out and finds out something. Before his death, he grasps this into the mind according to this karmic cause. It is like this. When you take a film or a negative, and this negative, when we print, we get the same picture. We cannot get another picture. At the dying moment, the last thought which appears exactly like this negative, this film. The picture that we produce from this negative is the next line. This is the Buddhist attitude towards this rebirth. Our professor can give more details from philosophical way, I think.
Yes, perhaps a few words, because there is the kind of belief, some people think that the idea of rebirth is a kind of dogmatic belief in Buddhism. And it's a kind of people believe in rebirth in a kind of faith, in terms of faith. But I think in this context it is important to mention that scientists have done research about rebirth and they have found some very interesting evidence. Particularly, an American medical doctor called Ian Stevenson has done a lot of research on this subject, and he has published 2 big volumes called Cases Suggestive of Reincarnation. And he talks there of people who have had spontaneous memories of their previous births. And he has verified those claims independently and proved that rebirth to be a very plausible hypothesis. And then there is another type of evidence. There's one book which deals with this type of evidence, written by a person called Jonathan Rodney. And this is an experiment actually anybody can do on anyone, because now we have, our mind is composed of 2 parts. First the conscious mind and then the unconscious mind. Actually, the conscious mind is only 1/6 part. Only 1/6 of our mind, and all the other 5 parts are in the unconscious mind. So unconscious, very big part of our mind. And all our previous births, memories of all our previous births are all stored in the unconscious. So if any hypnotist can hypnotize you and regress you gradually into your past birth, anybody can reclaim all these memories. And thereby, so you can find out all the details about your rebirth. And of course, it is this storing of these past things in the unconscious that affects our physical body that we are going to get in our future lives. Now, for example, there's a case that Ian Stevenson researched in Sri Lanka about a boy. I myself saw this boy several times, and he claims to have killed his wife in a previous birth. And when he was having those memories, actually those memories he had when he was very small, and then later on those memories gradually disappeared. And his right hand was completely deformed. He had a very deformed right hand. And then when he was asked why he had a deformed right hand, then he said it was with that hand that he killed the wife. So that is the reason why he has got this deformed hand. So you see how the karma affects. So all the karmic forces are in the unconscious mind, and therefore they can affect you in various ways in terms of your physical body.
You had a question, yes.
Well, I have a question here. In the Christian community, they have such a thing as faith healing. If they
sorry, they have such a thing as what?
Faith healing. Faith.
F-A-I-T-H.
Faith healing. F-A-I-T-H. If they believe in their so-called God, and it could be healed if they suffer any incurable disease. Can the panel pass make some comment on this?
Okay. So the question is that in certain religions they claim that very strong faith can cure disease, yes?
Incurable disease. They create miracle.
Okay.
If they believe in their so-called God.
Right.
If it is incurable, there's nobody in this world who can cure. Let it be anything. If it is incurable, no one can cure. Then, this faith healing is a real monkey trick. What they do, I have seen, to get a big audience, they announce film stars from Hong Kong and Taiwan and Korea, well-known film stars, dancing and singing and entertainment. Then more and more young people assemble. When the show is going on, then suddenly somebody comes to the platform. And do you know, many years ago, I was completely deaf. I could not hear anything. I prayed to Buddha. I prayed to Goddess of Mercy. No cure. Then somebody advised me, pray to Jesus. Believe me, when I was praying one day, I heard keen noise from my ear. Now I can hear. But these people do not know anything about this person who announced this. Because he has come from another country, people do not know anything about this person. Now I can tell you, I was born in a Christian family. And I have lost my eyesight. I could not read anything. I was praying to Jesus for many years, so no cure. Then one of my friends told me, why not you pray to Buddha? Actually, I did not believe. But just for curiosity's sake, I started to pray. One day when I was praying, suddenly I got my eyesight. Can you say no? Because you do not know anything about my background. All these are monkey tricks. They have ready-made cases, invite purposely their own people. One man come to the platform limping, cannot walk. Ready-made ones. Because nobody knows who this person is. He comes to the platform with so much of difficulties. Then, going on praying and deciding, grab. Walk very well. No problem at all. Another person comes. I was blind for many years. I am very sorry. I have been praying to this and no cure. Please help me. All right. After praying, open your eyes. They are own people. My argument is this. If God is ready to cure the sicknesses of Buddhists and Hindus and others, what is the difficulty for God to cure His own followers? Millions and billions of His own followers for thousands of years suffering from same sicknesses. What is the difficulty for God to cure His own followers? Why He is very keen to cure Buddhists and Hindus? It is not a monkey trick.
Those who want to challenge with Buddhists bring certain ideas to convey that Buddhists are practicing, following the wrong method. What is that? The Buddha is not a god. He is a man. He is dead and gone. What do you gain by worshipping and praying to a dead man? How can he bless you? How can he save you? How can he forgive your sins? But our God is living. He can save you, He can bless you, He can forgive your sins. Then certain Buddhists do not know actually what to say. They surrender because they do not know what Buddhism is. However, if we try to say, yes, Buddha is a god, we reduce the enlightenment of the Buddha, because a god cannot become a Buddha. Only a human being can become a Buddha. Therefore, we never introduce the Buddha as a god. The Buddha is not an ordinary man. He was enlightened religious teacher. Again, people try to condemn the teachings of the Buddha that it is a pessimistic religion. Pessimistic means the Buddha always says life is suffering, birth is suffering, and living is suffering, death is suffering, everything is suffering. But Buddhism says how to find out peace, happiness, satisfaction in our life by following the noble teachings of the Buddha, not simply to contemplate on suffering. If life is suffering, it is natural. No one can deny. Every living being is suffering in this world. Therefore, if we don't like to suffer, we cannot get rid of this suffering simply by praying or worshipping or offerings or performing rite and rituals and certain ceremonies. But we must understand what this life is and how to maintain peace, satisfaction in our mind to face certain problems and how to overcome them through understanding, not simply by praying and worshipping. Therefore, challenges that they bring forward to condemn the teachings of the Buddha are not reasonable. Again, those who are trying to convert the followers of other religions into their religion, they teach hatred. That is the first lessons that they teach. What is that? They ask those people to destroy all their religious objects and images and religious symbols that they have been worshipping for a long time. Turn them into pieces and burn and spit on them. That is the first lesson that they teach after converting people into their religion. We must understand that Buddhists, for the last 2,600 years, never harmed, condemned any other existing religion, never tried to convert people by force or by condemning the existing other religion. It is mentioned in Buddhism, if you try to bring others into Buddhism by condemning, accusing, blaming their own religion, you disgrace your own religion. That is the advice given by the Buddha. Therefore, as Buddhists, we never think others are sinners or they go to hell and they are unfortunate. Whether they are Buddhists or Christians or Hindus or Muslims makes no difference to us. If they lead very gentle, very reasonable, harmless, respectable, noble life, whatever religious labels they have, that is not so important. They can have very pleasant, very peaceful, very happy, very prosperous life, and if there is heaven or paradise or nirvana, there is no difficulty for anybody to experience the bliss and happiness without any religious labels.